Comes with a job.
Maybe they don't want to step in.
All right. Let's start stamping on Hana Shira, shall we? 1, 2, 3, 4. Havana Shira, Havana Shira, Havana Shira, let us sing. Havana Shira, Havana Shira, Havana Shira, let us sing. Come let us sing, come let us sing, come let us sing. Havana Shira, come let us sing, come let us sing, come let us sing. Havana Shira, Havana Shira, Havana Shira, Havana Shira, let us sing. Havana Shira, Havana Shira, Havana Shira, let us sing. Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat is the source of light that illumines the holy temple, and with it the entire world, teach our sages. This is why observing Shabbat enables us to open our eyes and deep within into our own inner temples. Shabbat affords us the opportunity to assess our direction in life and evaluate our inner strengths. And observing Shabbat enhances our ability to focus on our relationship with God as we draw close to the innermost point of truth. We take time in our service to reflect on our lives. We take time in our service to connect with all those who are here around us. And we take time in our service to communicate with God. In them, we feel the radiance of Shabbat. We are going to begin by lighting our Shabbat candles. And I'd like to invite up the members of our teen choir over here to light candles for us.
All right.
As these Shabbat candles give light to all who behold them, so may we, by our lives, give light to all who behold us. As their brightness reminds us of the generations of Israel who have kindled light, so may we, in our own day, be among those who kindle light.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kitshanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu lehadlik ner lehadlik ner shel Shabbat.
Blessed are you, sovereign of the universe, who hallows us with mitzvot, commanding us to kindle the light of Shabbat.
Amen.
Amen. Yasher
Shalom.
koach to all of you.
Wow.
And we are going to continue with our kiddush, our blessing over the wine. I invite everyone to rise.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam borei peri hagafen. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kitshanu b'mitzvotav v'ratzavanu v'shabbat kodsho באהבה ורצון הנחילנו, זיכרון למעשה וראשית, כי הוא יום תחילה למקראי קודש, זכר לציאת מצרים. כי באנו בחרת ואותנו קידשת מכל העמים, ושבת קודשך באהבה וברצון הנחלתנו. ברוך אתה אדוני מקדש השבת. אמן. לחיים.
We are so blessed. Sorry, that Medashevitz takes a little while to go down.
Good stuff.
It's the Jewish stuff, right? So we are so blessed to all be here together to welcome in Shabbat. And so we sing the words of Hine Matov, how blessed we are to come together as one community on this Sabbath to celebrate this sacred day. You may be seated.
Great it is for brothers and sisters to hang out on this day. Hine mato umanayim shevet achim gam yachad. How great it is for brothers and sisters to hang out on this day. Iyo, iyo, oh, oh. Iyo, oh, 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 oh. Iyo. גם יחד. איו, 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 how great it is for brothers and sisters to hang out on this lovely day. How great it is for brothers and sisters to hang out on this day. Hine mato umanayim shevet achim gam yachad. How great it is for brothers and sisters to hang out on this day. Iyo, iyo, oh, oh. Iyo, oh, oh. Narialo, Lefuneradena, Lefuneradena, Lana, Naria, Letsuri, Sheku, Kiel Gadol, Adonai, Melech Gadol, Al Kol Elohim, Lefuneradena, Ladonai, Naria, Letsuri, Sheku.
If that doesn't welcome us into Shabbat, I don't know what does. This much anticipated day has arrived. We greet the Sabbath bride filled with excitement about all that this day can bring. Please join us in singing L'Chadudi, and as we reach the final verse, we'll all rise and face the entranceway to greet the Sabbath bride.
Ya la 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 la, L'Chadudi. Ya la 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 la, Likrat Kala. Ya la 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 la, Pnei Shabbat nekabel. Ya la la la, L'Chadudi. Ya la la la, Likrat Kala. Ya la la la, Pnei Shabbat nekabel. Ya la la la, L'Chadudi. Ya la la la, Likrat Kala. Ya la la la, Pnei Shabbat nekabel. Shamor vezavor, v'nifur echad. Ish miyadu, elam milad. Adonai echad, u'shemo echad. V'shem u'tiferet, v'nitfilah. Ya la la la, L'Chadudi. Ya la la la, Likrat Kala. Ya la la la, Pnei Shabbat nekabel. Ya la la la, L'Chadudi. Ya la la la, Likrat Kala. Ya la la la, Pnei Shabbat nekabel. Likrat Shabbat lechumenet. Ki tibeko haberachah. Be'ochi kedet lesuha. Zot na'aseh be'Shabbat be'milah. Ya la la la, L'Chadudi. Ya la la la, Likrat Kala. Ya la la la, Pnei Shabbat nekabel. Ya la la la, L'Chadudi. Ya la la la, Likrat Kala. Ya la la la, Pnei Shabbat nekabel. Hitoreri, hitoreri, ki ba'oret, umi ori, uri uri, shir daveri, kevod Adonai, alayim nikra. Ya la la la, L'Chadudi. Ya la la la, Likrat Kala. Ya la la la, Pnei Shabbat nekabel. Ya la la la, L'Chadudi. Ya la la la, Likrat Kala. Ya la la la, Pnei Shabbat nekabel. Boi v'shalom, Ateret ba'ala. גם בשמחה ובצהלה, תוך אמוני עם סגולה.
we have a good quota of Shabbat Shalominess in this room, but I think we can bring it just a little bit higher. And I think the way we can do that is by greeting one another. Friends that we've had for a long time, new friends here tonight, let us offer to one another Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat Shalom. Good. I want to encourage everyone to also put their attention forward as we prepare to say the words of the call to worship, the Baruch Hu. Please remain standing if you're able.
Yalla lai lai lai, 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 yalla lai lai lai. Am I awake? Am I prepared? Are you listening to my prayer? Can you hear my voice? Can you understand? Am I awake? Am I prepared? Baruch Hu et Adonai HaMevorach. Baruch Adonai HaMevorach le'olam va'ed, le'olam va'ed. Yalla lai lai lai, 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 yalla lai lai lai.
This is an hour of change. Within it, we stand uncertain on the border of light. So we draw back or cross over. Where shall our hearts turn? Shall we draw back, my brother, my sister, or cross over? This is the hour of change, and within it, we stand quietly on the border of light. What lies before us? Shall we draw back, my brother, my sister, or cross over? Baruch atah Adonai, hama'ariv aravim. Wisdom and wonder, passion and instruction, story and symbol. All these things your Torah gives to us. And the more we devote ourselves to it, the more it grows and gives. What could be a truer token of your abiding love than this holiest of your works and the living language that gives it form? Baruch atah Adonai, Ohev Amo Yisrael.
Adonai Eloheinu. the doorposts of your house and on your gates throughout all time. Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad, Adonai Echad. Standing on the parted shores of history, we still believe what we were taught. Before ever we stood at Sinai's foot, that wherever we go, it's eternally Egypt. But there's a better place, a promised land, and the winding way to that promise passes through the wilderness. There's no easy way to get from here to there, except by joining hands, marching together, and singing ya la la la, la la la, la la, ya la la la, la la, singing ya la la la, la la la, la la, ya la 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 la. Moshe uMiriam uBnei Israel lechantu shira b'simcha rava ve'ameru kulam yai la 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 la. Yai, la 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 la, singing yai, la la la, la 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 la, yai, la 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 la. Adonai, mi chamocha baili, mi kamocha nehedar hakodesh, mi kamocha nehedar. Torah tehilot, oseh felech, oseh Adonai, mi chamocha baili, mi kamocha nehedar hakodesh, mi kamocha nehedar hakodesh.
by Karen Kedar. Inside the human heart is fear. There is also hope. The two wrestle constantly like Jacob and his God. Sometimes one prevails, sometimes the other. Sometimes the struggle is silent, the other times loud. But it is constant, fear, hope, fear, hope. Flashes of light and shadow twirling inside us all the time. It is so much easier when there is love. When love is in your life, it becomes the context for it all. Love is the measure of life well lived. It is the beacon of possibility. When you love, the fear is less harsh. Hope is a bit stronger. As the day turns tonight, let us turn to one another with acceptance, understanding, and embrace. Let there be love among us.
Let there be love and understanding among us. Let peace and friendship be our shelter from life's storms. Let there be love and understanding among us. Let peace and friendship be our shelter from life's storms. Hashkivenu, Adonai Eloheinu. Hashkivenu, Leshalom. Ve'hamidenu, Shomreinu lechayim. Ufros aleinu, Sukat shlomecha. Hashkivenu, Adonai Eloheinu. Hashkivenu, let there be love and understanding among us. Let peace and friendship be our shelter from life's storms. Let there be love and understanding among us. Let peace and friendship be our shelter from life's storms. V'shamru b'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat, la'asot et ha-Shabbat לדורותם ברית עולם. ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. בין ילדי
Technology is a wonderful thing, except when it stops working.
Exactly.
So it's Shabbat for the batteries too, right? We are going to now turn to our Amidah, our standing prayers. So I invite everyone who is able to please rise.
Adonai Sfatai Tiftach. Adonai Sfatai Tiftach. Ufi Yagi Tehilatecha. Ufi Yagi Tehilatecha. Adonai Sfatai Tiftach. Adonai Sfatai Tiftach. Ufi Yagi Tehilatecha. Ufi Yagi Tehilatecha. Shalom Rav Al Yisrael Lamecha Tasim Leolam. Shalom Rav Al Yisrael Lamecha Tasim Leolam. כי אתה הוא מלך אדון לכל השלום. כי אתה הוא מלך אדון לכל השלום. כי אתה הוא מלך אדון לכל השלום. כי אתה הוא מלך אדון לכל השלום, שלום רב על ישראל, לעמך תשים לעולם, שלום רב על ישראל, לעמך תשים לעולם, וטוב בעיניך לברך את עמך ישראל, 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 בכל עת ובכל שעה, בכל עת ובכל שעה, בכל עת ובכל שעה, בשלומך. שלום רב על ישראל, לעמך תשים לעולם, שלום רב על ישראל, לעמך תשים לעולם, ברוך אתה אדוני המברך את עמו ישראל, המברך את עמו ישראל,
We like to think of our Torah as having such wonderful stories of acceptance and getting along. And we know that too often in the book of Genesis, we have stories that teach us exactly what not to do. This is one of those weeks. So I think that one of the biggest pieces of this week's Torah portion is one of the hardest stories to really grapple with in our Torah, because it's the story of brothers who so don't get along with one another that they actually want to take their younger brother's life. It's a story about brothers who were jealous of Joseph, who start plotting and thinking about how to do away with him, until one of the brothers says, "No, let's throw him into a pit instead. That's so much better, right? Let's throw him into a pit," Reuben says, "so that I can retrieve him later and save his life." So yeah, it is better, but it's not great. And they threw him into the pit. They stripped off a tunic. We very often think of Joseph and the dream coat, right? This beautiful fabric tunic that he has. Well, they strip him of this fabric. And as it turns out, this fabric has a lot more meaning than we even realize from the words of the Torah, because this tunic is said to have come back all the way from Adam and Eve. It's said to have been a tunic that was passed down through the generations, that was once Esau's and that Jacob had taken, that had become Rachel. And when Rachel died, the tunic then, after a sequence of events, went to Joseph. So Joseph actually was holding on to his mother's memory in part with this tunic. And so when they took this tunic off, they threw them into a pit. They threw Joseph into a pit. And in this pit, the Hebrew says that it was empty and there was no water in it. These words, this emptiness, there's no water in it. There's a kind of repetition there, and it's there for a reason. That it's not just empty, it's not just without water, it's also empty. At this moment, when Joseph is thrown into this pit, he's stripped away of the garment that made him feel secure, of a garment that made him feel loved. After all, he was given it by his father. It was a way in which his father showed his love, and he was in this pit as if he was naked, without anyone in the world, completely vulnerable. His brothers sat within earshot, and they began to eat food and celebrate and enjoy themselves. Imagine being in this pit, calling out for help, to have your own brothers around you, not heeding your calls. And then they see some Ishmaelites who are coming by, and another one of the brothers says, "Let's sell him. That's sure better than having his blood on our hands." So as we know the story, how it goes, and as we'll be reading over the next several weeks, Joseph is sold into slavery. And Joseph begins his journey to the land of Egypt. And within that land, he deals with all sorts of wonderful things, including being thrown in prison for a long time, but somehow he is able to grow up to really make the most of the experience he has, to hold himself with integrity despite the negative ways in which he had been treated. In that pit, empty as it was, Joseph grew up. So often in our lives, we have something that hits us from out of nowhere, and we're forced to grow in a way we never could imagine. That's what that pit was for Joseph. As a child, I remember thinking that life was fair, that if I held myself with respect and integrity, if I was kind and thoughtful and good, then everything would work out well for me. Wouldn't it be nice if that was true? But we know that it's not true. We all know too many people suffering in our world from hatred, from illness, from unexpected circumstances, or sheer bad luck. We know too many people working long hours and yet still ending up on our city streets. We know of so many people who simply wanted better for their families, leaving lands where there is so much violence and no opportunity in order to come to a country where they are separated and put in cages. We know that people are so often treated as criminals, like subhuman, for reasons that are not their fault in any way. We know that life is not fair. When Joseph was thrown in this pit, that's what he came to know as well. And he dared not return to the pit where he had once learned the harshness of life, where he had become a man, until many, many years later. Well after he had become a viceroy in the land of Egypt, well after he had reunited with his brothers, he came back to this pit when his father, Jacob, died. There is a midrash that says that while Joseph was a viceroy and the entire family had come down to live in Egypt, Jacob died, and Joseph led a caravan back to the land of Canaan, where he would bury Jacob in the cave of Machpelah. The brothers fulfilled their father's request that he be buried on the very land that Abraham had purchased years before, in the place where Abraham and Sarah had been buried, the place where Isaac and Rebekah had been buried, where Jacob's wife Leah had been buried. And after a great and a solemn ceremony and a period of mourning, Joseph and the entire entourage left the cave of Machpelah. But instead of traveling southward back in the direction of Egypt, Joseph led the caravan in a north direction towards Datan, to the pit, the very pit into which he had been thrown by these same brothers years before. And so at this moment, he felt the need to return to the place of his suffering and his terror. One can imagine the kind of fear his brothers had at this moment, that they experienced when they realized that Joseph was leading them to this pit from the grave of their father, and what might transpire and what might happen when they arrived there. But Rabbi Norman Cohen teaches that what happened was as Joseph stood over the pit, he said not words of hurt. He didn't seek to have vengeance on his brothers in any way. Rather, he spoke these words: "Blessed be God who permitted a miracle to come to pass for me. Blessed be God who permitted a miracle to come to pass for me." At this moment, Joseph turned his story upside down. Yes, this had been a place of deep loneliness and deep dread. This had been a place where he had dealt with great sorrow, as many of us do at one point or another in our lives. But he chose to turn this place and this moment with his brothers into one of strength. May we also come to transform our places of pain and isolation into sources of healing and of growth. May we turn this darkest days of the year into days full of light. Ken Yehi Ratzon, may this be our will. We take a moment in our prayer service in order to offer words of healing for people in our community and people in our thoughts. As I go around the room, of course, we are thinking about Mart Cohen and Marty Spiegel and Jennifer Harrison Gomez. And as I go around the room, I invite you to stand up and to say the names of anyone else for whom you'd like to offer a Misha Berach prayer.
Davidson and Elsinko, Rita School.
For all the people whose names we've said out loud and all those whose names we keep silently in our hearts, let us offer this prayer for healing.
In the words of Moshe Rabbeinu, we pray together. God, please heal them. Elna, Refana. ברוך אתה אדוני רופא החולים. Blessed are you, God, whose healing presence is with all those in need. And we all say,
Amen. Along with our prayers for healing, it's customary around a Torah service or a devar or something along those lines to also say words of blessing. And tonight, we happen to be celebrating... They're not? Okay. I thought maybe I just didn't see them. Okay, well, there are a lot of anniversaries in our community, and we're going to send out best wishes for anniversaries to all those celebrating, and I'm not going to do the blessing for people who aren't here. So we're going to move on with our service. We're going to turn to our Aleinu prayer, and I invite everyone to please rise if you're able to do so at this time.
עלינו לשבח לאדון הכל, לתת גדולה ליוצר בראשית, שלא עשנו כגויי הארצות, ולא שמנו כמשפחות האדמה, שלא שם חלקנו כהם, וגורלנו ככל המונם, ואנחנו קוראים ומשתחווים ומודים לפני מלך מלכי המלכים הקדוש ברוך הוא. ונאמר והיה אדוני למלך על כל הארץ ביום ההוא יהיה אדוני אחד ושמו אחד.
You may be seated. As we hear a few announcements from Jessica Feldman on behalf of the board.
Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom.
It is my pleasure to be here this evening representing the Board of Directors. Many thanks to the Ruach Havurah for hosting our lovely Oneg Shabbat this evening. If you would like to sponsor an Oneg Shabbat in celebration of a birthday or an anniversary, please contact our temple administrator, Carrie Hernandez, to sign up. If you are new to our congregation tonight, I'd like to welcome you to Temple Bethel. Please stay for our Oneg immediately following services so that Rabbi Kale, Cantor Davidson, and members of our leadership can say hello to you. By the way, Hanukkah is a couple days away. The gift shop will be open. There's lots of good stuff, Chanukiot, dreidels, good swag. Okay. We have a lot of great activities coming up, and we hope to see you at many of them. Although our Hanukkah Latka party is sold out, we'd like to invite everyone to join us this Sunday at 7:30 p.m. for our Hanukkah service featuring our TBE youth and teen choirs and our wonderful in-house band, the Moody Jews. Please join us tomorrow at 10 a.m. for Torah on the Trails, walking in Point Furman Park in San Pedro. The address is in tonight's handout. Hakshivuna, hakshivuna, kulam po mezumanim lilmod ivrit. And if you'd like to understand what I just said, please sign up now for our Let's Speak Hebrew course taught by our TB educator, Racheli Morris. This 12-week course will take place, what?
That was awesome. Just a great announcement. I love that.
This 12-week course will take place from January through April on select Sundays from 12:15 to 1:15. If I get there, I'll teach you guys all to swear.
Great.
Course is designed to increase your usage of conversational Hebrew. Please sign up through the office. Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom. You got so excited back there about Hebrew.
All sorts of good stuff going on. And I just want to thank so much the Moody Jews for all of their help with services tonight. You always bring so much to the service, as well as our teen choir. We couldn't do it without you either. So, kol hakavod, kol hakavod. We do take a moment at the end of a really joyful service in order to remember those who have died in recent days and weeks, and people who have died at this time in years past. If I say aloud the name of a loved one, I invite you to rise and stand in place if you're able to do so. We are mourning the loss of Sally Rockoff, who died this week, as well as Dorothy Seidler. We are also mourning the loss in the yahrzeits of Harry Morton Ash, Louis Ashkenazi, Gloria Matlis Brandt, Bonnie Beyer, William Cantor, Allegra Cohen, Leo J. Cohen, Sophie Cook, Gary Covelli, Milton Davidson, Sarah Fine, Rose Fink, Abraham Harm, Joe Hayes, Billy Hoberman, Michael Jacobs, Fanny Katz Keith, Eva Shevitz Lee, Irma Levine, Milton Lewis, Victor Matlis, Paul Mosher, Ann Moskowitz, Betty Pennick, Beverly Resnick, Mitchell Rose, Esther Rosen, Lorene Rosenberg, Zona Rubin, Mara Samuels, Philip Schwartz, Edna Stolberg, Alice Torres, Peggy Turnbull, Greta Weineman, Mira Weiss, Martin Butchie-Zede, and Marion Weinstein-Gross. In their honor and in honor of all others who we are mourning the loss of today, we will together say the words of the Mourner's Kaddish. Please rise as a community. Yitkadal v'yitkadash shmei Rabbah,
בעלמא דברך
ירצה וימליך מלכותה, בחיי חון וביום נכון ובחיי כל בית ישראל, בעגלה ובזמן קריב ויאמרו אמן. יהי שמי רבא מברך לעולם עולמי עלמיה. יתברך וישתבח ויתפאר ויתרומם וינשא. יתהדר ויתעלה ויתעלה שמי תקודשה ברכו. לעילה מן כל ברכתה ושירתה. תושבחתה ונחמתה, דמירם ועלמה ואמרו אמן. יהי שלמה רבה משמיה, וחיים עלינו ועל כל ישראל, ואמרו אמן. עושה שלום ברומיו, הוא יעשה שלום, עלינו ועל כל ישראל, ואמרו אמן.
עושה שלום במרומיו, הוא יעשה שלום עלינו ועל כל ישראל ועל כל יושבי תבל ואמרו
Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom.
We have some challah coming down, and I invite everyone to put a finger on the challah or on someone with a finger on the challah so that we can say our bracha.
Come on.
Hold on,
put your
hold on,
finger
hold
the
on.
challah if you
Hold
can.
on.
Put your finger on
Finger on the
she said, put my finger on someone's fingers on the challah. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, hamotzi lechem min haaretz, Shabbat Shalom. Oh boy, that's a good one. Shabbat Shalom. 1, 2, 3, 4.